Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is LolaAjisafe here. We are going to be discussing Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'm a little late. I apologize. But better late than never. So this is going to be episode 4? Sorry. Episode 5. Episode 5, forgive me. Episode 5, and I believe it's called Coins2Make, not Friends2Make. Before I begin, housekeeping rules. Don't forget to like the video. I appreciate the like so far, and more importantly, let me know what you think. Drop a line. Let me know, your opinion about what I said or about anything else. And last but not least, if you haven't subscribed, you're trying to get your sister to 2K, hit the subscribe button. All right, so let's start. So I'll kind of pick up where we left off. In this scene, it's at the end of the scene, prior episode, Tisha and Kiki, do you want me? No, I'm sorry, let me stop. So Tisha and Kiki had met up. They've got this matter, some private matter that apparently, Tisha had disclosed to Mel. So they have their little discussion at Black. Nothing comes of it, or after some time, Tisha gets up and walks away. Now the problem with that is, okay, I'm thinking like, okay, well, you guys haven't resolved it. Tisha, why are you walking away? But as they're talking, Tisha discloses that maybe they've been sitting there 3 hours. 3 hours is a long time to be talking about this 5-year-old. Tisha had walked out of Black because she was done talking. And then immediately, I guess in frustration, she wanted to vent. She called Kimmy. Of course, as she's talking with Kimmy, cousin Kiki come out and she like, oh, you talking about me again, blah blah blah. And then she's like, no, I'm just venting with Kimmy because I just feel frustrated because we keep going back and forth. The little point that Kiki made was like, well, we can't really come to resolve if you walk off. And she's saying that's what Tisha does. But the truth is, if it was really a 3-hour conversation over this old issue, then I would walk off too. I don't blame her. I'd be done as well. So that's one issue. Another thing that so Tisha says she's sorry. Kiki takes it, or maybe she's going to hold on to it to another time when she needs to use this as a as a trump card. I don't know, but anyway, this scene has been rehashed for us on TV, so I know they're not going to bring it back to us. So if they try and keep playing, I hope you're not going to bring this through all the other episodes, because we done with this. Okay, Kiki, we done. Kiki, we done. Next scene, we have Martel and Marceau. And now that these guys aren't beefing, I can't lie with you. They have like a nice kind of smooth chemistry because they're both kind of smooth. Like I can see how they were partners in the past. Like one's the brains, one's the face of the operation. Like I don't want to tell you who's who. But anyway, Martel shows up at Skolt's and they start talking. Like they had a cute little back and forth. I suppose at this point that Marceau's like, so how did the book signing go? And he lets him know that the kids went there, it wasn't his week. He catches us up on what we already know. And I guess Marceau seems sympathetic. Like I don't know if it's like fake sympathy, but he did seem sympathetic to his boy's situation and says, yeah, he feels like Mel is using the kids as a pawn. I don't know. I mean, that had been a question with me prior. Is she using them as a pawn, or is she trying to prevent this gentleman from trying to dictate how her life goes? Because he knows what week it was on. So it's really hard depending on who's saying or what time of the day it is. You could say this or you could say that. And when you have a newly minted divorced couple, like everything's up for grabs. So I really can't point fingers at this time. Of course, I just told you guys that I like the chemistry between the two of them. And right after that, Martel must have heard me. He talked about, I want to buy back into Schultz. And I believe Schultz was a combination of Scott and Holt. Yeah, Scott and Holt. So they were partners before in this construction business. They started together. And then, of course, at some point or another, they decided to split ways. And so Schultz now just became just Marceau's company. And so all of a sudden, Martel, I guess in his bid to build himself back, he doesn't have a builder's license, he wants to come back into the company. Now, I know what I said about I like the chemistry, but yeah, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Why did I say this? So, people, you get to know who people really are when you have a misunderstanding with them. So whether Marceau had said something about whatever Marceau had said to piss off Martel in the past, in the first 2 seasons. Remember how Martel was singing like a canary? He broke all the boy code rule. He broke all of the codes. All the guy code rules he broke. Like he was singing like a canary, saying all sorts of things. But you know, my boy, you know, Marceau is smart. He's like, well, you know, I'm not the majority shareholder. Let me talk to his wife, aka I'm gonna let my wife let you down softly, but I'm not gonna do it. But he does. I mean, I feel like he was nice to him. He's like, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. You know, we did great things in the past. But my G, like, I think what that guy, I'm not to say that you're not guilty too, Marceau. I'm not saying that, but I just feel like, when you've seen how messy Martell can get, you might not want to mess with that. You don't. When people show you who they are, believe them. What I say, when people show you who they are, believe them. Martell's already shown you how dirty he can get. I won't mess with him. But truth is, Marceau can get a little bit dirty too, but he's a little slick with his, so they're probably like a perfect pair. But in terms of business, I wouldn't bring Martell back. I like him and everything. He's getting a new shine. You know, he's got a new shine to him. He's getting good edits now, so it begins like, oh, he's okay. You know, everyone wants, you know, everyone loves a good comeback story. So we're all kind of, you know, smiling out, you know, Martell now, but still, I don't forget. I don't think Marceau should agree to this. Marceau don't agree to this. But I trust Tisha. Tisha's not going to go for this. So, and that's what men do sometimes. Men will be using their wives to say they know that they don't have the chest to say. Like, I've always thought Marceau to be, you know, like, you know, Marceau's not using his chest with this one. Because this, to me, is like, yeah, you guys, I'm sure Martell definitely has a lot to bring. But the thing is, now that you can see how messy it can get, it would be looking for trouble. All right, next scene we have is Maurice and Destiny. Destiny wants to meet up with Maurice because, as she's told us, she's had, you know, like some financial challenges. I won't say problems, some challenges. As you know, a small business owner, recently divorced, different expenses piling up. She said she needed to get like public assistance. We don't know the extent of it, but she said she needed to get public assistance. So now she's trying to get herself back on track and figure she'll talk to, you know, big bro Maurice. And I love that he's available for that conversation. I know the cameras are rolling, but let's just go with me on this. I love that he's available for that conversation because Maurice, remember, he's the good guy, so he's trying to be the good guy again. So I love that Maurice is there for her, and they didn't quite get to resolve, or maybe they edited out the resolve. But I think just having that conversation is important enough because, in my opinion, solving a problem, half of solving a problem is coming up with a plan. So it's likely, I'm assuming, at that sit down they came up with a plan that she can follow. So half her problem's already solved. You've got a plan and you stick with that plan, then it's completely resolved. So, you know, but they get talking further on. She kind of tells her, I don't know how they get launching about how, you know, her relationship with her and Mel. I guess it bleeds on from the reunion and all the back and forth. She's kind of explaining to Maurice that, you know, Mel had said that she was, you know, talking to the enemy. And then they got to a point where he broke it down real simple. So he's kind of asking her, so have you been speaking with, you know, Mel? And she says she really hasn't. She said, so he said, so all this that you've been going through, who have you been talking to? She said, actually, I've really been talking to Tisha. And I think the first question he asked her is like, you know what, knowing what you know now, would you still be a friend to Tisha? And she says, yeah, because Tisha's been there for me. She's someone I've been able to talk with, particularly all of what's going on with me now. That's somebody I can, you know, pick up the phone with and dial and really, you know, get help even if it's just moral support. She's been getting that moral support that she needs from Tisha. So she's not just going to say, because all of a sudden Mel has withdrawn her permission, that she's all of a sudden not going to talk to Tisha anymore. Because I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning, you know, maybe 2 seasons back, Mel had told Destiny that, you know what, this is Tisha, make your own mind up about her and blah 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 blah. That's how she kind of left it. But now 2 seasons later, she's like, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my enemy. So like, if you're talking to my enemy, you're my enemy, like kind of conversations that she's having. And Destiny's like, that doesn't fly. Like, you can't just decide, or, you know, switch on and off who and how I should be talking to people. If that had been how you had started it from the beginning, then she and Tisha would not have been that close. But now they seem to be getting closer. You can't just all of a sudden say, well, if you're going to be my friend, you can't be her friend. If you're going to be her friend, you can't be my friend. This begins to sound very high schoolish. Next scene, we have Marceau and Tisha. Of course it comes up, you know. First of all, she try and mess with him, talk about like Miss Wonder gonna come and do an internship with him so that she can be successful in her you know, food truck business. Like, I feel like that was just like, she just like sound like a setup. Anyway, he agrees, but if I were him, I'd find a way to get out of it, because the two of them are like oil and water. It's always going to be on and popping. So like Tisha, you need to think up something else. You having that your troublesome mother to be chasing your husband around is simply going to chase him out the door. I mean, if you want to be single, if you want to divorce, then by all means send your mother to be shadowing him. But if you want to stay with your husband and you want to have some peace in your marital home, then you need to put your mother somewhere else. I'm just saying, like, that's the best advice I can give you. Maybe the producers, I don't know, maybe you're just doing that for the benefit of, you know, sensational reality TV, because in real life, you know, your mother's a troublemaker. You know, Master don't play with her either. Like, he will cuss her out in a minute. Like, she go too far, he'll come for her neck, and then two of them are going to be on and popping, and you're going to be the one stuck in the middle. So wisdom would dictate that you don't create that kind of situation. But for the sake of reality TV, you're creating that kind of situation because I guess you want to give both of them more airtime. I don't know. So you get talking about, of course, about, you know, Martell wanting to buy back into Schultz, whatever they call this company. Of course, she says she don't think it's a good idea. So, scene here, the final scene for this episode. Mel meets up with Destiny. I don't know who asked who, I can't remember, but I do remember Mel was sitting there, Destiny comes in. I guess they want to have a conversation. So the point here is they meet again. Like, they met before and they're meeting again because, you know, I guess Destiny doesn't understand that. Why are we still not close? But, you know, she did mention something, and I guess what's making her more concerned is because she feels like she's hearing from other people about the fact that they're not communicating. So she feels like if Mel is still talking about her misunderstanding with Destiny, then they're probably still not good. And if they're not speaking as frequently as they used to, then they're still not good. And she brings up the point that is, you know, Mel a master manipulator. She kind of, you know, plays with it in her mind, actually says it in her confessional, and that's a valid question. Let's address it. Is Mel a master manipulator? I don't know if I would use that word yet, because I'm not behind the scenes. I know it's reality TV and it has to be sensational, and when you see these characters on the screen, you don't get to see 3D, you get to see one dimensional, maybe if you're lucky 1.5. But I won't call him master manipulator, but I will say that Mel is very smart. 1, 2, Mel knows how to play that game. 3, I know from probably the first season, Mel know how to throw rocks and hide her hands. So she can do this pretty well. So could she be? She could be, but I'm not going to go out and say, oh yeah, she's a master manipulator, because I don't have the evidence right now to call her a master manipulator. But I can say that she's smart. Mel is smart. You're not going to catch her slipping. Like, look at the divorce. Look at how she's just up and running. Like, if you would leave Martell to tell it, he was the brains of the whole operation. But actually, she was the brains of the whole operation. Like, she's the evil genius. So y'all can make your 1 and 1 to make 7, or your 2 and 2 to make 4. But at this point, I'd be a little hasty to call her a master manipulator. But she's slick. I'm going to definitely say she's slick. Like, you won't catch her slipping. You're not going to catch her with a slip showing. But then, you know what I wonder? Like, you know, the question now is that because they seem to be so close. Initially in prior seasons, they were really tight, and we kind of liked their relationship. It was kind of cute. What led to the breakdown? It couldn't have just been, oh, you had a conversation with Tisha and now we're not friends. Like, how was Tisha even in the room but you weren't in the room? So the breakdown had already happened. How about that? The breakdown already happened, because that's what she mentioned on the reunion. She said that since they wrapped, they hadn't really spoken. Like, she said that the way they used to speak frequently, like, you know, every day, every other day, be on the phone, you know, talking, that they did, once they wrapped, they weren't doing that anymore. So this breakdown really had I won't say it has nothing. Tisha's matter just adding on to it, but I don't think that was the main thing. What I would ask myself now is, if two things that have come up that might have caused this breakdown in a relationship, really honestly, that hasn't really been fleshed out, is one, we know that Destiny had a divorce. And to our understanding, I don't know if that's true, but to our understanding, you know, Mel found out when the cameras were rolling, not that she was having marital issues, that she was divorced. And so of course Mel's going to be thinking, like, so I'm the village idiot, like my matter is all over the season, over every episode, and you hid your marital issues, one, and even hid the divorce until it was final. Like, what kind of friends are we? I feel like that might be the genesis of their problem. Like, how are we good friends, but you had a whole divorce? I didn't even know you guys were having like issues like that. Because everybody had issues when you're married, like you go up and down. But not only did you have issues, you had issues that led to separation, that led to divorce. I didn't know, like Mel didn't know anything. I'm talking like Mel. Mel didn't know anything until divorce was final. Do you know how long it takes for ink to dry? Like, it didn't take 24 hours. It took a minute. And if we're to believe what they're telling us on the screen, Mel didn't know about it. Now in real life, could Mel have known about it? I would think if you're good friends, you should have known about it. So then let's delve into another issue. Second issue I think they might have, that might be the genesis of their beef, is that is Destiny's relationship with Martell. Now I think we all know by now that, Destiny knew Martell first and then became friends with Mel later on, particularly when she moved down to be, to get married to chicken guy. I don't remember his name. I don't remember his name, but I know he's the chicken guy. So when she moved down, then of course maybe she and Mel struck up a friendship that became close quickly. So now the question is that since now, Mel and Martell separated, Martell coming for her neck, she coming for Martell's neck, she's wondering like, okay, Destiny, why are you still friends with Martell? And in Destiny's mind, she's like, I've known Martell twice the amount of time I've known you. I've known him from jump, so why would I not talk with him? Like, to request that might be a little much. Although in Destiny's defense, we have seen Destiny, correct Martell and tell him what to do with it and all these kinds. So she has kind of stuck up for Mel, but she can't completely write him off. Because I don't know if you guys remember last season, or was it last season or season before, where they met in the car park and he brought some products for her and he was making fun of her after her divorce had come out that year, because she and Mel have, they talk too much. That's why they're both going through a divorce. So at that point, you could see that she definitely has been, fighting for her friend at that time, who was Mel. But still, at the same time, one of these things, or both of these things, I feel are the genesis of the breakdown in the relationship. That little Tisha nonsense, like, I don't think that's it. Like, so that's why it doesn't make sense, and that's why people seem confused. But I think that one of those two things are both. But of course, in the middle of this meeting, Mel brings out a text thread to prove to us, the audience, that no, they've been talking since the wrapped. But all she was able to prove is they've been texting. What Destiny says that we haven't been talking. Talking, I'm assuming, means a phone conversation. Since if you're over 12, like talking, communicating, I would think you mean that, like, hey girl, what's up, like that, or let's meet for drinks. Because at the reunion, Mel had said that, oh, usually when I rap, I always take a downtime. That was what Mel had said at the reunion. But now she's saying, no, we did communicate via text, but I didn't want to, put you on the spot, embarrass you. No, Mel, that's not buying it. I think all of us as grown-ups didn't expect, we're not saying that you guys are not talking via text. We're saying you're not communicating the way you used to, which would be impersonal on the phone. So I think that was a weak point, but have it, sis. You needed that point, you got it. And so, just the whole dynamic of it was a lunch they were having, or a brunch. So I think at this point, really, you could see that Destiny really was affected by the way their relationship looks. Like, Destiny really wants to be friends with Mel. She doesn't want the friendship to break down, but Mel seems done, because you can even see that Destiny definitely looked a little down. Destiny's sassy and spicy. Like, she'll come for you quick. I mean, she defended herself certain times when Mel was getting a little too quick, talking about you rude. She did defend herself. She was Destiny, but still there was a sadness you could see in her person when she was like really looking like, is this where our relationship is going? So it's not coming back. We're not going to be friends again, particularly in this point in my life when I really could use my friends. I'm talking like I'm Destiny, but I'm not Destiny. You could see that. And here it is. This is the end of the episode. Like, it looked like they're not going to be, it doesn't look like they're going to be friends anytime soon. And the question now we ask ourselves is that what everyone's been saying, both Martell and Tisha, I don't know the rest of her friends, but people will know, is it true that Mel keeps you around until your shelf life? Once your use has been gone, once your use has expired, and once she no longer needs you, she lets you go. Is this true? Because I don't know. But once again, yes, this is all via a third party, the camera, a well-edited camera. I really can't, I can consider it, but I can't say definitively that's the case. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Get your sister 2K. All right, Lola, over and out.